determine the length of the short knicker, and I'll be using 18, or better said, I'll be using 16, so we can see what we are doing. I'll use 50. We're making length short knicker. Is a bit different from that of a woman, so I want you to follow. It's a bit different from that of a woman's short knicker. So the next thing I'm going to do is to locate the middle. To locate the middle of the paper. So I'll just use this. So this is the middle of my paper. You say it's looking like that of a female. Yeah, that is the same format, but not the same method, or the style are different. So I'm going to make A, and this will be my B. Remember, it's a short for men. A, and this is B. That's the length of the short. And the next thing is for me to determine my crush, which is going to be C. So A to C will be the depth of your crush plus 3/4. The depth of your crush plus 3/4. That's 3/4 inch. So it's going to be a C, and that will be my C. So whatever you have, you take it to the other side, so you can have equal length. You can have equal length. Actually, this is the crush depth, CLD, that is crush depth line. So to determine your hip level, that's the guy hip level, that's waist to hip, you divide this into 3. That is A to C, you divide into 3. Whatever your answer is, you measure up. You measure up like this. So this will be your D. Then you square across. I'm using a smaller size, as in anyway, the measurements will be up there. So this is the waist to hip line, crush depth, and this is the length. B is the length. So you can make it any length you want. I'm just using this so you can see what I'm doing. So I'm going to start with the center back. So I'm going to make here my back. So on the crush line, I'm going to measure my quarter of the hip. I'm going to measure quarter of the hip plus half inch. Quarter of the hip plus half inch. Which is somewhere here. So I'm going to make it E. So I'm going to take it up to the A line. So let's do the same thing here. We do the same thing on D line, which is the waist to hip line. Sorry, I want to make sure I have accurate. Yeah, I can just reel it, but I don't want to do that. Ensure you have accurate lines. So you take it up like that. So I'm going to we have E here. This will be my F, and this will be my G. I hope we are good with that. So the next thing I'm going to do is to determine the crush level, as in like where we are going to shape the crush. So what do? You're going to be using C to E, that is half of C to E. You measure what you have there, half of C to E, you divide into 2. That's what you're going to use there in this direction. So G, this will be my H. we need to determine the midway of G and E. So what do? You measure, you divide it into 2, which is somewhere here. So I'm going to make that X. I'm going to make that X. So we need to measure a diagonal line here in order for us to shape our crush. So what do? You can use your, what we need is angle 45. Angle 45, which is somewhere here. Just somewhere here. Then so on this diagonal line, you're going to measure 1.5 inch. All the measurements I'm using is inches. I'm measuring in inches. So this is 1.5 somewhere here. So before we curve it on this part, you will need to measure inward 3/4, and you measure out, that is also 3/4. So we're going to make here G1 and G2. So now all you need to do is to get your crush curve and connect in this direction. It's not compulsory to get to this part. Take it to X. Take it to X and take it to G1 and G2. So you can blend it. If it's not giving you what you want, you can blend it in this direction, like I'm doing now. Yeah, you blend it, so which means this side is out, that part is out. So that's about that. So let's quickly shape the waistline. So what do? You need 1/4 of your hip plus 1 inch or 2 inch, depends on the measurements you want to use for the center part. So I'm going to be using 3/4 or 1 inch. So 1/4 of the hip plus 1 inch for that. The 1 inch is for that. So I'm going to make it high. I'm going to make it high. Then I'll connect I to D. That is shaping the hip side. That's the side. Okay. So what do? How do we locate our dart position? That's the next thing we're going to do now. So to locate our dart position, you're going to measure from G1 to high. Whatever you have, divide it into 2 plus ½ inch. Whatever you have, divide it into 2 plus ½ inch. Plus ½ inch. So locate the middle. You know you've already added your dart seam to it. So I'm shaping my dart here now. So this is my 1 inch for that. You can use lesser than that, depends on you. Then you mark down 3.5. That is 3.5 for the depth of the dart. 3.5 for the depth of the dart in this direction. I'm shaping the dart leg now. So this is 1 inch and this is 3.5 inch. I hope we are clear. We are clear with that. So I'm going to connect the lines in this direction now. That is connecting the waist, connecting high to G2. Then you take this up. I hope we are clear. We are clear with this. Now, for the leg, it's very simple. All you need to do, is a short knicker. So you can easily measure what you have from C to H in this direction. C to H. Then you take it down in this direction. C to H, whatever you have, take it down in this direction. Remember, we're working on short knicker for males, so this is what it's going to look like. So this is the center back, though we are not done. We're still going to do little finishing. So let's go. So this is CBL, that is crush depth. CD, sorry, crush depth line, and this is WHL, that is waist to hip line. So what you're going to do now is to measure your quarter of your hip plus half inch, quarter of your hip plus half inch, like we did with the center back. You measure, you take it up like that. The half inch is for ease allowance. It's for ease allowance, nothing more. So square up, connect the lines in this direction. When that is done, of course, this part. So let's give it number. So I'm going to make here E1, F1, and we already have G. So I'm making a J. That is F1, E1. So the next thing is, in order for us to shape the curve like we did the center back, you're going to measure whatever you have, your hip measurements, you divide it into 3. Whatever you have here, you divide it into 3 parts. So you'll be using one of the parts as your. So I'm going to make here. I'm going to make here K. So like we did G to E, G to E1 locates the midway. I'm going to make that X as well. So you know we need to on the center back we located the diagonal line. So we're going to do the same thing for the center front. Locate the diagonal line, which is angle 45. Angle 45. On that angle, on that line, we're going to measure out 1.25. That is 1 1/4 inch. 1 1/4 inch. Because that's what we'll be connecting. So from J, you're going to measure quarter downwards. So J. So I'll make that J1. Now let's locate our waist. How do we do that? You measure from, let's just measure from J to A. Measure your quarter of your waist plus 1 inch. You can use 1 1/2 because we'll be needing 2 darts on the center front. Reason being that we are creating pleats. So what do you do? So I'll be using 1 inch or 1 1/4. I'll be using 1 1/4 for it. This is the quarter of my waist. Then the darts measurements, I'll be using 1 1/4 for my darts. So I'm going to connect this in this direction. So I'm going to make here J2. So already from J to J2, whatever you have, divide it into 3 parts. Divide it into 3 parts because that's what we'll be using to locate our dart position. So the first marking will be 1/3 of the waist measurement, which is somewhere here. So you know I said I will be using 1 1/4 for the dart. So you divide that into 2. So that is 5/8. So I'll be using 5/8 for the first one, which is somewhere here, by 3 inches. Now the dart interval, you should use 1 1/4 so the darts will not so from that 1 1/4 I'm going to measure another half, 5/8. Remember we are using 2 darts, by another 3 inches. I hope I'm making sense to someone. So it's very simple. I'll recap now. I'll recap. Let me just draw the darts leg. So what I'm saying is the darts that I added to the waist, quarter of the waist measurement, was 1 1/4. I divided it into 2 so I can have 2 darts. So J2, that's the waistline plus the dart measurement, divide into 3. So 1/3 of it is the first one, and I measured half of 1 1/4 by 3 inches. This is 5/8. This is 5/8 inch, and this is another 5/8 inch, and this is 3 inch. I told you we'll be needing this. We'll be transforming this to pleats, but not to worry. I hope you are clear with us. So the next thing we are going to do is connect J1 to J2, J1 to 2. You know we drop it by quarter, so it's dropped by quarter, yeah. So we're going to take it in this direction. So that is just it. So now we need to shape the side. That's the cross side. So what do? You connect J1 to X. Of course, it's just that one is done already in a way. Then you connect X to where we have our markings on the diagonal line. Then we go in this direction. This is very simple. You can, if you don't have it perfectly done, you can reshape by blending it. So that's all for now. So the next thing, just like we did, we're going to bring this down. So what do? You measure whatever you have here. You bring it down. You bring it down. You bring it down. So we have the center front. This is the side. This is the center front. Center front, center back. So we have both ready, but we are almost done. So you know we can't leave the short knicker in this. We can't leave the legs like this because it's going to make it look very funny. So what do? You shape it in by 1/2 inch, so it will be on the leg side. So it will look a bit stylish. You do that on the center front, and you do that on the center back. You place your curve in this direction. Yeah, and you take this also. You take this also in this direction to almost to the waist to hip, almost to the waist to hip. So we're going to do same for the back. We're going to do same for the back. So, and I also want to show us how to incorporate pockets. So please stay with me. Shape the center back as well. You measure on B. You measure inwards 1/2 inch. Take it out to almost to the like we did the center front. So we do same here. Take it in by 1/2 inch and curve it to gauge. So that is that. Let me quickly illustrate the pocket. Let me quickly illustrate the pocket for us. So before we go into the pleats I mentioned earlier. So for the pocket on the center front, all you need to do is to measure inwards 1 1/4 in this direction. Then you slant it down below, a little bit below the hip. That's the waist to hip in this direction. It's very simple. 1 1/4. Now let's quickly. Sorry about that. I said 1 1/4 here, 1 1/4 inch. You slant it, and the next thing you're going to do is you're going to your pocket is going to be on this dart. Your pocket is about 4. It could be lesser, but it's going to be on this first dart. I'm just trying to mark the pocket. Then it's going to sit a little bit below the crush. Little bit below the crush. You can make it 2 inches or 3 thereabouts. Depends on you. Depends on how you want it. So I'm going to take it down like this. That's the pocket. So I need to curve this angle. So this is the pocket, the center front, pocket back, the center front, pocket back. So let's look at the flap. The flap is about 2 inches. The flap shape is about 2 inches. You mark it in this direction. You mark it here for flap. You mark it here by 7. You can make it lesser if you want. So you have it in this way. It's very flap and pockets. There's a link for that. So this will be for 2. This is a pocket bag, and all you'll be needed. And you put your band on it. Band is very easy to work on. You measure 2 inches inward. You measure 2 inches inward in order for you to be able to locate your pocket. Then this you measure down in this direction up to the hip. For you to determine the jet pocket, from the top here you measure 3 inches down. You measure 3 inches down. This line might not, it's not necessary it's here. It might be away from there. So let me just take this out. Let me just take this out. So let's assume we have from the waist downwards is 3 inches, but from the side inward is 2 inches. It's 2 inches. That's the guide. It's about 2 inches. The pocket mount is about 4 to 4.5, depends on the person you're working, the figure you're working on. So this is 4.5 inches. So the pocket bag will be, like I said, will rest on the hip line. So I have like 7 here. So this is what it's going to look like. It's going to look like this. Then you curve it. You curve it in this direction, so you can have a nice shape. Cover the edge in this direction. You can have nice shape and look. So we are almost done. So this is the pocket. Like I said, this will be the pocket, the wet pocket bag. So I hope we're clear with this. If you have any question, kindly drop the comments. I'll answer your question. I'll get back to you. Now, one thing I want you to know, this is the pattern. I'm going to show you how you're going to convert this to pleat. You know, the center front of a guy's shirt or trouser has a pleat. Though nowadays some change it to that. Depends on what you want to use it for, but I'm going to show you how. And if you want to use this illustration for a longer, a trouser, all you need to do is to add the length to it. You add length to it. So one thing again you should know is all this you have to trace the pocket, the flap, the pocket for both the center front and center back. You have to trace it on a different paper before you do all your manipulation. So let's quickly see how to make this into pleats, because we'll be introducing slash and spread method. Thank you so much. Don't forget to subscribe. Thank you. Talked about changing this to pleats. What do you need to do? All you need to do is to slash through. You slash through this, you open up at least to somewhere here, and you do the same on this one. So I'm going to incorporate lines to the other darts, so you know how to go about it. It's in this direction. This is not necessary for this to come so low. So all you need to do now is to open it up. We are still on the main knicker. You can cut this dart away so you don't get confused. Cut it away. Then, like I said, you open it up, slash it through in this direction, almost to the end. And if you see it's not opening, you can, just a little bit more, so you can have it opened like this. Then you do same to the other one, because we need it for pleats, just for the center front. The back doesn't need pleats. The darts at the back will be picked. Then you open this too. So if you see it's not opening the way you want, you can still cut through. But because it's a small scale for such illustration, the big scale might open through. So when you slash through like that, you incorporate 1.5 inch into that space. I'm going to place another paper in this direction. Sorry, I'm going to incorporate in this direction. So I'm going to pin down. I'm going to pin down now. Okay, I have it taped down. So all you need to do is you ensure you incorporate 1.5 into it. 1.5, locate the middle. That's for the big scale. The same thing applies to this. Locate the middle in that direction. So, and you blend at the top so the waist still remains the same. Then you can see that I located the middle. That's where I'm going to fold my pleats from. That's where I'm going to fold pleat from. Okay, so before I cut, I'm going to fold the pleat is not necessarily pleats like I mentioned it. It is a tux. It's going to stay down like this, and stitched down. It's going to if you want, you can stitch it here first before stitching it down. You are not stitching all through, you stitch about 1.5 to 2 inches. So that place will be folded. That's on the fabric. The same thing applies to the second one. So just like the picture you're seeing. So this is how it's going to fold on each other. So because this is paperwork, I'm going to cut this now so that you will know how to pick your tux or pleats. Remember, this is a male trouser. So I need so you can see. So it's going to fold on each other. All tux or all pleats will be facing the side. Will be facing the side direction. That's it. Okay, let me just say this is my needle and thread. You stitch up to somewhere here. You measure it. Then you stitch this down as well. You stitch down as well, and you stitch in this direction. So to secure the fold, you do the same thing to the second one. You stitch in that manner in this direction as well, and secure it down. So that is how it's going to look. And of course, the other part. Thank you for staying tuned. I hope you enjoyed this class. Kindly share our video with other designers or the student that needs this video, and also give the video a thumbs up, subscribe so you can know when a new video comes up. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to leave a comment. Thank you.